The time is now 0:34 on December 31st. December 31st, 2025. Yes, it is past 0 hour, midnight, if some would call it Central Standard Time, and I'm drinking coffee. I'm up because I'm always up. And something that has it hasn't been like really pulling at my heart, soul, mind until now because it's December 31st. I always would talk crap about the Gregorian calendar and why it exists and how stupid it is and just all different types of feelings that could be misalignment because of knowing how history is skewed. Why do we go about things like that? Is that the easiest way to deal with time, to deal with the sun cycles, anything like that? Now, in my walk coming back to the faith, I've been doing different things to get myself with alignment. Like, I used to just go barefoot outside to reconnect with the soil, reconnect with the earth that was gifted to me. This experience was gifted to me by the Father, and I would reconnect. I'm thinking about investing in what is that? What are those? Oh, grounding sheets, or it's like a band or something that goes over the middle of your bed, and you plug it into your grounding rod to reconnect. It's almost it's almost like the Father has that predetermined, knowing that if you are going through life, you may not reconnect with Him as you should. You don't go and interact with the soil. You don't go and interact with the winds. You don't pay attention to the sky. You don't pay attention to the wind. You're not paying attention to the water. You are disconnected from Him. That's why we get Sukkot, at least in my eyes. You have to get rid of the box that you live in and go be one with nature again. But some people glamp it up. They'll have a camper. They'll do all these things for comfort to still separate themselves from that connection with the earth. They aren't laying there in the grass and feeling the energy and actually grounding. They aren't reconnecting. They aren't becoming like a tree, planting themselves and letting the breeze move them back and forth. There's all these different different things that I am seeing from the Father that He put in the Word for us to follow. And of course, just like every generation that is gifted that knowledge of the Word, we don't really follow it how we should. We will go and do what it is that we want. We'll go follow another doctrine because that's what feels comfortable. That's what everyone else is doing. We have our own lane, but nah, let's just go along with the pack. Let's let's go along to get along with uh, everyone else that's around us because they decided that's how they're going to count time. That's how they're going to date their calendars. That's when they're going to have a new year. Now, with all of this, I still have to put in so much research. I need to understand the reason why. The reason why I honor the Shabbat, the reason why I honor Sukkot, the reason why I honor Passover, the reason why I engage in first fruits. But I'm not a farmer. Hebrews are supposed to be agricultural people, but I'm not there yet. I've been so taken away from that connection, generations upon generations, where uh, my family members weren't getting their hands in the soil, they weren't getting dirty and doing what it was that they needed to do. That's what I'm trying to get back to. I'm trying to figure out how to reconnect, how to get back on the scale and cycle that I'm supposed to be on. My camp, my tribe, my mag, they decided to focus on the new moon. We're supposed to gather during the new moon, but why? That's my fault for not understanding. That's supposed to be so we can reset ourselves to the Father's time. That's when the beginning of the month is supposed to be, not these random dates on the Gregorian calendar. No, 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 no. How do they correct for that? In the Hebrew calendar, every, was it 7 years? Every 7 years. No, every 19 years they add a month, right? Let me look it up. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Leap years. To keep the calendar in sync with the solar year, an extra month called Adair 2 is added every 7 out of 19 years. This cycle is known as the Metonic cycle. I have no clue what that is. No clue. But I wonder if there are farmers that do some type of calculations with their growing seasons and all of that stuff, if it links up with the Hebrew calendar. They know that, oh, the Gregorian calendar is one thing, but my growing season is something totally different. And I need to go about my life with my growing season because that's what's most important. I'll go and play and uh, intermingle with the world because that's when the world celebrates this or celebrates that. But as a farmer, I go and do this stuff. Like the Hebrew calendar, it has 12 months beginning with a new moon lasting 29 or 30 days. The months are Tishri, Sheshvan, Kislev, Tevret, Shavat, Adair, and it's Adair 1 and Adair 2. And Adair 2 comes when it's a leap year, or that's to adjust for the leap year. What we just talked about, every is added every 7 out of 19 years. I don't know how that calculation works or anything like that. Nisan, Iyar, Savan, Tammuz, Aviv, and Eliu. Now, while back, I added the on my Google Calendar. It gives you an option to add the Hebrew calendar, and the days are all over the place. But I'm starting to see and recognize the patterns in all of that. Recognizing when we are doing the feast days, how that coincides with the Gregorian calendar. It may sometimes seem like there are things are always at random, but they're not at random. There's actual timekeeping that happens. There's a count from one event to the next event, and then that also ties in with the lunar cycle. But then how deep do you go? Because then there are some people that I have met that they are lunar Sabbath keepers. So it's not like how we're doing things now, Friday evening into Saturday evening, that is our Shabbat. But there are other people, sometimes it's on Tuesday, sometimes it's on Thursday. It all depends on how the lunar cycle actually works. That's when you get your Sabbath. Oh, what a joy that would be to be so set apart from the world that you can adhere to the Sabbaths based off of the lunar cycle, not even having to wait until Friday into Saturday. That's some true set apartness where you make your own schedule, you make your own well, no, back that up some. The Father makes your schedule, and then you have all of the abundance that the Father decides to bless you with. Man, the obedience that you have brings so many blessings. When you are grateful to Him and you are not even looking for things, things tend to happen out of nowhere. When is the new year? Well, for the Hebrew Bible, it's almost like two different New Years. So you have the first day of the year, Tashiri, that's somewhere in the middle of what we call September. So that's when the next year is actually counted. So right now, let's hop over to Google Maps, not Google Maps, Google Calendar. The current year is 5785. So September. Where is it? Nope, nope, nope. It's 13, 17, 28. Where is this? Oh, September 23rd, 2025 is the new year. And that's Tashiri 5786. That's when the next year flips over on the Hebrew calendar. But then there's also the new year. Oh, I don't even know if it can be considered the new year in Nisan, when you are getting ready to go into Passover. And that's when the celebration of first fruits, where you bring that to the Father and you're so grateful. But the Hebrew calendar lets you know when you're supposed to plant things, when you're supposed to harvest things, when you're supposed to rest. I wonder, the closer I get to living a purified Hebrew life, will I be able to get more rest? I feel like I'm doing a really bang up job getting rest, but I also don't function on the clock that is set aside for the world. So how could I expect to rest when the world says that you're supposed to rest, when I'm not on the clock that I'm supposed to be on, when I'm not on the calendar that I'm supposed to be on? That's what I'm trying to figure out. That's what I'm trying to get closer to. That's what I'm trying to get a better understanding. That's why I need to dive more into my word so I can understand. So I can't, so I'm not just pontificating because I don't want to mess this up for my sons. I'm supposed to be their teacher, I'm supposed to be their educator, but nobody taught me. And that's what I'm figuring out. So, Happy New Year in September when you get around there. As for everyone else going into 2025, you should think about getting on board with what the Father wants you to do. That would be really important. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to figure out. It's a journey. Thank you for following mine. Shalom.